Alright guys, so I'm back with another deck profile from Cardfight Vanguard Deer Days on the Nintendo Switch. This time we'll be doing our Dark States Greedon deck, version 1 of course, which as always is everything up through the first additional card pass, so through D-Booster Set 7. So this deck is built around Greedon and his Desire Devils, and it focuses on just sucking up all your rear guards into your soul in order to restand your Vanguard and just power him up as much as possible so he can hit like a truck. So, as always, we will be going through the deck, and then we'll have one card fight with it to show it in action. So, starting with our ride deck, we have our Grade 0 starter, which is Desire Devil Taida. So, when it's rode upon, if you win second, draw a card. Same starter skill as always. Next, for our grade 1, we have Desire Devil Gomon. So his auto ability, when this unit is rode upon by Desire Devil Boshoku, you can reveal an Avaricious Demonic Dragon Greedon from your ride deck and draw a card. So this skill is basically just a free draw. It does lock you out of having any variation in your ride deck, but you don't really want to do that anyway, so it doesn't really become an issue. So additionally, this guy also has a second auto ability that says when this unit is put from rearguard circle into your soul by your Vanguard's ability, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, you can counterblast 1, and until end of turn, when your opponent would call cards from hand to Guardian circle, they must call 2 or more at the same time. So we're not running any extra copies of Gomon in the main deck. However, we do have a way to get this guy out of your soul onto rearguard, so you can use this skill even with just the one copy. And it is a pretty powerful guard restrict that it grants you. It lasts until the end of the turn, so it doesn't only apply to your Vanguard's attack, it applies to any attacks you have left. So if you can get a few rearguard attacks in, they'll have the guard restrict as well. So this can make for a pretty powerful finishing turn and force your opponent to potentially waste a lot of cards. So next for our grade 2, we have Desire Devil Boshoku. So his auto ability, when this unit is rode upon by Avaricious Demonic Dragon Greedon, you can put a card from your hand into your soul. To search your deck for a card with the same card name as this card, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck. And then he also has a continuous ability while he's in your soul that says during your turn, if your damage zone has 4 or more cards, the Avaricious Demonic Dragon Greedon on your Vanguard circle gets power plus 5,000. So we are running additional copies of this guy in the main deck, since his first skill allows you to search them out. And thanks to the way his second skill is worded, it does stack for each copy you get into your soul. So the idea is to just get as many copies of him as you can into your soul to power up Greedon as much as possible for his restand. So it's pretty easy to get him into your soul between Greedon's skill and potentially his first skill as well, if you have another copy of him in your hand. So yeah, just a good power up card. And then of course our grade 3 is Avaricious Demonic Dragon Greedon. And yes, he is a dragon wearing a suit. So, his first skill is a continuous ability that says if your soul has an Avaricious Demonic Dragon Greedon, the number of cards in your damage zone for you to lose becomes 7. So, that's a very powerful skill, letting you take 1 more damage than you'd normally be able to take. That also grants you an extra counterblast to work with in the process. So then he also has an auto ability that says at the end of the battle this unit attacked, you can Soul Blast 2 and put 4 stand rear guards into your soul and stay in this unit. And if your soul has 10 or more cards, this unit gets power plus 15,000 until end of turn. So that's his restand skill. It does require you to put stand rear guards into your soul, so you can't attack with the rear guards first and then use them for this cost. So you have to get the restand in lieu of your rearguard attacks. However, we do have some combos we can pull off so you can still get some rearguard attacks in. So that is our ride deck. Moving on to the main deck, of course we do have our 3 additional copies of Greedon. We do have the SP here because it looks cool. So beyond that, for our grade 3s, we do have 3 copies of Desire Devil Dofund. So his auto ability, when this card is placed on rearguard circle from hand, if your Vanguard is Avaricious Demonic Dragon Greedon, you may soul charge 2. So he's here just to be your soul engine. It can be a little bit difficult to get the 10 cards into your soul for Greedon's extra 15k power. So this guy can really help towards that. Now he also has a second auto ability that says when this unit attacks, if your soul has 2 or more Greedons, you can counterblast one, and this unit gets critical +1 until the end of that battle. So that is a very late game skill. Unless you get lucky with your soul charges, then that's probably going to be a turn 5 skill at the soonest. So it doesn't come into play a lot, but having a rearguard that can gain an extra crit is always a useful thing. So when you can use it, it can be very helpful. So that's all of our grade 3s. Moving on to the grade 2s, of course, we do have our 3 additional copies of Bushiroad, which we've already gone through. So beyond that, we are running 3 copies of Desire Devil Muka. So his auto ability says when this unit is placed on rearguard circle from hand, if your Vanguard is Avaricious Demonic Dragon Greedon, you can counterblast 1 and soul blast 2 to choose a card from your soul and call it a rearguard circle. So this can help you refill your rearguard circles after you suck them all up in order to use Greedon's restand. So that can be helpful on getting the restand again the next turn. The cost is a little much, especially the Soul Blast 2 part. It can make it difficult to get the 10 for Greedon's power boost. But I do like using this one. And he's also the only way for us to get Gomon out of our soul on the rearguard circle. So if you want to use Gomon's guard restrict ability, this card will be the only way to access him. So in addition, he has another auto ability that says when he's on rearguard circle, when your Vanguard attacks, if you Persona Road this turn, you can choose one of your Vanguards and it gets power plus 5,000 until end of turn. So just yet another way to power up Greedon more and more. Of course, that only works on Persona Ride turns, but more power is always helpful. So lastly, for our grade 2s, we do have 3 copies of Desire Devil Kodoku. So this card's auto ability says when this unit attacks while not boosted, if your Vanguard is Avaricious Demonic Dragon Greedon, you can choose up to 4 normal units with Desire Devil in their card names from your drop, and if you chose more than 1 card, return them to your deck and shuffle it, and if you return 4 cards, this unit gets power plus 10,000 until the end of that battle. So this card is mainly there just to be an anti-deck out card. Once deck out is a very real possibility in this deck. Greedon doesn't lose any drive checks on his restand, so you're losing at least 5 cards out of your deck every turn between your draw phase and Greedon's 4 drive checks. So yeah, you run through your deck pretty fast in this, so being able to send some from your drop back to the deck can be helpful sometimes. Plus the power boost is always good if you leave him out to be your rearguard attacker on Persona Ride turns. He can hit 30k on his own, so that's pretty good. So that's all the grade 2s. Moving on to the grade 1s, we are running 4 copies of Desire Devil Bubetsu. So his auto ability says once per turn, when your other rearguard is put into your soul by your Vanguard's ability during your turn, you can counterblast 1 to choose a card from your hand, call it to an open rearguard circle, and if your soul has 10 or more cards, you can draw a card. So this card is very, very useful. It lets you get another rearguard attack in. Which there's also a combo you can pull off with this guy and Muka if you have 2 copies of Bubetsu on your field and then 1 Muka in your hand. You can use Greedon's skill to suck in the Bubetsus along with 2 more rearguards. And then that'll trigger both Bubetsu skills. So you can call Muka from your hand along with anybody else, and then use Muka's skill to superior call someone from your soul. and assuming you had the 5th rear guard on your field in the first place, you'll then have another 4 on your field available. So when you attack with Greedon the second time, you can actually use his skill again and restand him again. So that combo is a little piece reliant and a little cost heavy. But if you can pull it off, you can actually get 3 Vanguard attacks in one turn with a total of 6 drive checks. So that can be a very devastating combo to pull off. Plus the extra draw power, you know, if you can get the 10 soul, is also helpful in replenishing your hand so you can have more rearguards to call for the next turn potentially. So next we are running 3 copies of Desire Devil Kuvisky. So his auto ability, when this unit is put into your soul from rearguard circle by the ability of your Avaricious Demonic Dragon Greedon, if you did not countercharge this turn, countercharge 1. So he's your countercharge engine, which even with the extra counterblast you have thanks to Greedon's 7 damage ability, counterblast still can get pretty steep in this deck, so having a countercharge option is nice. Then he's got another auto ability when he's in your soul that says when your rearguard is placed by a card's ability, if your Vanguard is Avaricious Demonic Dragon Greedon, and your damage zone has 4 more cards, that called unit gets power plus 5,000 until end of turn. So this ability also stacks like Boshoku's, so that means for each copy of him in your soul, you can power up a superior called rearguard by 5,000. So if you call something off of Bubetsu or potentially even Muka, you can have them gain a lot of power. So that can be helpful in getting your rearguard attacks to actually hit. So next we are running 2 copies of Desire Devil Incane. So his auto ability says when this unit is placed on rearguard circle, if you persona roll this turn, you can soul charge 1. So another soul charge option, again, helping you hit the 10 you need for Bubetsu's draw and Greedon's extra power gain. Now it only works on persona ride turns, but still. So he also has another auto ability that says when this unit is put from rearguard circle into your soul for your Vanguard's ability, you can counterblast 2 to choose one of your Vanguards and it gets power plus 5,000, drive plus 1 until end of turn. So that is counterblast 2, so again it's kind of a high cost, but it gives you an extra drive. So again, that is a plus 1 to your hand, another chance for a trigger, and you get the additional power to make Greedon even stronger still. So very useful card, and again, I don't know if you have enough counterblast to pull all that off. You might need a few Kuviskis in there, but if you can pay for it all and do that double restand combo I mentioned earlier, you would get the drive on both those, since that drive lasts until the end of turn. So next we are running 2 copies of Desire Devil Jito, who is our cool little demon owl. So he's got an auto ability that says when this unit is put from rearguard circle into your soul by your Vanguard's ability, choose a card from your drop and put it into your soul. So again, he's just a free soul charge from your drop. Helps you build towards that 10, helps you replenish if you use some soul blast skills like Muka's or whoever. So pretty useful card and very, very awesome artwork. So the only other grade ones we're running are our Sentinels. So of course we have our 3 copies of Repelled Malice Dragon, just our standard perfect guard. And then for our last Sentinel, we do have the 1 copy of our Blitz Order Elementaria Sanctitude. So if your opponent's Vanguard has triple drive, you can play it without paying the cost. So that's all the grade 1s. Moving on to the grade 0s, we just have our trigger lineup, which is 7 crits, 4 draws, 4 heals, and 1 over. So for our critical triggers, we are running 4 copies of Connected Rampage Klin, just a standard vanilla crit. And then additionally, we have 3 copies of Diabolos Girls Mai Mai, again just vanilla crit. If you want to run the effect one, you can, but there isn't really a need for it particularly. So next for our draws, we have 4 copies of Raoul's Wildmaster Riley. So she is the one with the skill. Says if your opponent's Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, gets shield plus 5,000. So 10k shield draw. That is the one you definitely want to use. So then for our heals, we have 4 copies of Direful Doll Alexandra, which is just the vanilla heal. As always, if you want to run the effect ones, you can. I just always stick with the vanillas. And then our 1 over trigger is, of course, Hades Dragon Deity of Resentment Galmageheld. So his additional effect says you get during your turn, all of your Vanguards get power plus 10,000, critical plus 1 until end of this fight. So he grants you, the fighter, an ability that basically gives your Vanguard a permanent critical trigger, which can be very helpful in this deck since it's entirely built around powering up your Vanguard as much as possible and restanding him. So the earlier you pull this, the better. But anyway, that is the deck. So we will go ahead and have one fight with it. We'll fight against Masaru, I guess. Alright, so we are going second. And I think I'll keep this hand, actually. So we'll drop that draw trigger to ride. And use Taida's skill to draw. And I could call something here, but I think I'm just going to attack with my Vanguard. And he gets a heal that is wasted. Which, if you read the lore, it's actually pretty cool because Greedon actually owns a gambling den. And if you make a bet with him and lose, then he turns you into a Desire Devil and eats you. As I get a crit trigger to the face. But yeah, all the Desire Devils are actually people that lost bets to Greedon. So, that's pretty cool. We'll guard that one, I guess. Alright. So we'll ride Boshoku and use Gomon skill to reveal Greedon from our ride deck. And then we can draw. So now we'll call Kodoku. And we'll just attack with those. And attack again. And he's going to play his order, so that means he will get the 10 soul. So his Vanguard's going to be able to gain the power and extra crit. And he's also going to power up his Brainwash Swirler, because he triggered that ability 4 times with it. I could perfect guard that, but against my better judgment, I think I am going to let it through. Alright, you got no triggers. And we get a heal trigger. Alright. So we will heal Greedon. Get a power to our Vanguard. And you know what? I think I'm going to let that through too, because that'll put us to 4, and that'll turn on a few of our skills. Oh, we'll get another heal. Oh, well, never mind. Okay then. Alright. So we'll drop one of these Incanes, I guess. To ride into Greedon. And use Bushiroad's skill to shove the one in our hand into our soul. And then search another from our deck. So now we can call Bushiroad along with Incane and Bubetsu. And I guess that's it, actually. So we'll go ahead and attack with Greedon, not boosted. And we get a draw trigger. So we'll give that power to Greedon. And we get a crit, alright. So we'll give both those to Greedon. And he did not get any triggers off that. So we'll use Greedon's skill. And we can Soul Blast 2. And then suck our 4 rear guards in. Which will trigger Incane's ability, so we can Counter Blast 2. And we'll gain 5,000 power and extra drive. And then we can use Bubetsu's skill to Counter Blast and Superior Call from our hand. So we'll call out Muka, whose ability we can't use. But we'll attack with our Vanguard again. Any perfect guards. And we got no triggers off of that. So now we can take out his rear guard of Muka. Now he's gonna start in powering up his swirlers again. And he's one soul short from getting his third ability. But he does get his crit. So I should probably perfect guard this. Yeah, and he pulled a crit, so it's a good thing I blocked that. Although now he's got a 2 crit rear guard that's going to be very high coming at me. Which I think I'm actually going to have to let through. Oh, we pull our over trigger. Alright, well that cancels out one of the damages. Alright, so now we can Persona Ride. And let's see, we can go ahead and call Dofund and use his ability to soul charge too. And then let's see, we can call Boshoku. We can call Kuviski. And we can call Bubetsu. And we should be set up pretty good. So we'll go ahead and attack with Greedon, not boosted. And we can use Luca's ability to give him an extra 5k. And he guards with his over trigger. And we pull a crit, alright. So let's give both those to Greedon. So now we use Greedon's ability, and we can Soul Blast out 2, and suck in our 4 rear guards. And we gain the power since we got the 10 plus cards in our soul. So we'll use Kuviski's skill to countercharge. And now use Bubetsu's skill to counterblast. And that'll let us superior call from our hand, so we'll call Kodoku. And Kuviski's skill will give him an extra 5,000 power. And we're at 68,002 crit. So we can attack with our Vanguard again. And he perfect guards. And we get a draw trigger. So we'll draw Jito off of that. And we'll give that power to... yeah, we'll give it to Dofund. Alright, so we'll attack with Dofund. And he guards again. So we'll attack with Kodoku. And his ability will activate. And we can put our 4 Desire Devils into our deck. And give him an extra 10k. And he can't guard it. And we got him, alright. So that was our Greedon deck. Very cool deck. You can hit some crazy numbers with Greedon if you get the right setup. So I guess that's all for this video. We will be back soon with some more deck profiles. I think the next one up is Eva. So until then, I guess that's all for this video. So lots of luck to you and yours.